What's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing. I'm back at it with another boxing video. So we got bad news, boxing fans, but we kind of seen this coming, right? Vasyl Lomachenko has declined a fight versus Shakur Stevenson, and that would be for the interim WBC lightweight title at 135 pounds. Okay, them fellas, Bob Arum confirmed this. You know what I'm saying? When the man Bob Arum this is according to Mike Benson. He said that the man Barbarian will not. She says Shakur Stevenson versus Lomachenko will not be happening next. Barbarian revealed that Lomachenko wants to take more time off, and so Shakur will have to fight someone else for the vacant WBC title in November. Isaac Cruz and Frank Martin are next in rankings. So Isaac Cruz is the number three contender. Number one contender for the WBC lightweight strap is Vasyl Lomachenko, and he's pulling a Ryan Garcia. That's what he's doing. I mean, there's no ifs, ands about it. There's no other way to put it. He's ducking a world title shot or declining a world title shot, passing up a world title shot. However way you want to put it, it's all semantics, right? And he's wants to take time off, according to Bob Arum. You know what I mean? I guess him coming off of a loss and going into a fight with the young Shakur Stevenson. Them fellas Lomachenko ain't feeling that too much. You know what I mean? And word on the curb is his next fight. We'll see how long this Bob Arum is talking about taking time off, right? But word on the curve is that the man's next fight, Lomachenko's, will be versus Kambosos. And I told you, I thought Kambosos lost to that Maxie Hughes guy a few weekends ago. You know what I mean? But that's who the man Lomachenko wants to fight. You know what I mean? And as for Shakur Stevenson, he's already off. His team has already offered Pitbull Cruz a fight before. Pitbull Cruz and them declined. Frank Martin is a guy who also fights on Showtime, just like Pitbull Cruz, PBC. And this is a guy who has a little history, at least with Keyshawn Davis and even Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They've had a little back and forth, whether it's on the internet and stuff. You know what I mean? So that would be a very good fight. I actually like that fight even more than a Shakur Stevenson versus Pitbull Cruz, because I already know Pitbull Cruz has declined to fight. So I don't know what his motivation is to go and fight a guy that he don't want no parts of. Anybody who sees, Pitbull Cruz is waiting for another payday. He's eager to get a rematch versus the man Javante Davis. I would like to see that fight for a rematch because I had the first fight a draw. You know what I mean? And Pitbull Cruz, and like I told you on my previous video, Samson Lekowicz, the Uruguay promoter who has the Samson Boxing promotion, the guy who actually discovered Manny Pacquiao and brought him here to the United States. Yeah, I mean, them fellas, Samson Lekowicz has guys like David Benavidez under his banner. Who else? Pitbull Cruz, of course. Man, I'm forgetting somebody else. Oh, the Towering Inferno, the big 6'5", 54 pounder. You know what I mean? Sebastian, I can't remember his name. Took a mean knockout loss last time I seen him in the ring after having a big time stoppage victory and battering Erickson Lubin. You know what I mean? But Lekowicz and them, they only be over there on PBC. You know what I'm saying, and I think he said this when they was probably talking about a Canoli versus David Benavidez fight, and possibly if David Benavidez, if there's a chance he would go over to the zone to get the fight. And them fellas was talking about he's just a PB. They're strictly down with the PBC. I think that situation also occurred when with the Pitbull Cruz when the Pitbull Cruz fight was brought up to him versus Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, I mean, so they strictly over there on PBC. So, I told y'all, man, Pitbull Cruz gonna hide behind the networks and his promotional team in order not to fight for a world title because he just want to fight Shakur Stevens. I'm sorry, Tank Davis. I don't know if Tank Davis gonna fight that man again. He probably might. Maybe Pitbull Cruz has been fighting, trying to build his fan base and try to build his portfolio, try to be seen more on TV. Maybe it'd be a big fight, Tank Davis versus Pitbull Cruz. But as far as the man Devin Haney, I'm sorry, Shakur Stevenson, can he even get a fight with Frank Martin? Frank Martin's on PBC. The next guy up behind Frank Martin is Williams Zapata, and that's a guy who Shakur Stevenson said their team has given them an offer to take the fight. And Williams Zapata, if I'm not mistaken, fights over there on Golden Boy. And they haven't taken the fight. They declined it. So they ducked him too. So who's next up, man? Who's really going to step up, take the fight? You know what I mean? And then when Shakur Stevenson has to fight somebody like Edwin De Los Santos or Jermaine Ortiz for the WBC interim world title, while we see what the man Devin Haney's going to do with if he stays at 140 or if he's going to come back to 135, which I highly doubt. He ain't coming back to 135. People going to say Shakur Stevenson fought nobody. But they're not going to mention about all the guys who ain't trying to get in the ring with him. All these number one contenders from Vasyl Lomachenko, Isaac Cruz, William Zapata. You know what I mean? So, Shakur Stevenson, out of all boxers in the boxing game, really and truly, he's been very active trying to make the big fights. He believes in himself. And it's just up to somebody to call his bluff, you know what I mean? You know? It's up to somebody to call his bluff, and if will it be Frank Martin? It definitely ain't gonna be Pitbull Cruz and William Zapata. So I'd love to see stylistically, really and truly, I'd love to see Shakur versus Lomachenko, but he don't want it. I'd like to see Frank Martin versus Shakur Stevenson. That's a damn good fight. Now the Lomachenko fans, I've seen them. Some have YouTube channels over here. They've said Vasyl Lomachenko has never ducked anybody. Well, a lot of people could call they bluff easily. He's ducked Shakur Stevenson. Now he's ducked Devin Haney 4 years or 3 years before they fought just this last spring or summer. You know what I mean? You know, and they making excuses, man. It's crazy how fan bases make excuses. One thing about B-Marsh boxing, man, I don't know. I don't be putting out my neck out there for any fighter like I'm gonna make excuses for them when they lose. I can't do that, man. I'm a man with kids, man. Big grown man. I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't. It's just not in me. You know. They don't want Lomachenko to fight. And some people even say Lomachenko ducked Pacquiao. That would have been a big fight for him. At a catch weight. If he's as great as Bob Arum said, Bob Arum said, he's the greatest fighter he's ever promoted, even more greater than Muhammad Ali and Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. But the Lomachenko fans, they say, "Oh man, that was the biggest robbery of all time. At least the top three biggest robberies of all time. Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. He's probably demoralized, and it took the fight out of him, kind of like Hagler versus Ray Leonard. And that's what they try to compare it to. Man, everybody walks their own foot. Everybody wears their own pants, puts their foot leg one pant leg at a time. Everybody walks a different path in life. Not everybody's situation is circumstantial, just like Hagler and Ray Leonard has nothing to do with Lomachenko ducking Vasyl Shakur Stevenson. What's this more time? The man doesn't have that much time left, really and truly in his career. You know what I'm saying? Is Lomachenko resting just on the laurels that he's going to make the International Boxing Hall of Fame once he retires? So is he fighting for legacy? I think the last fight, he was more really trying to fight for the money. Yeah, I mean, rather than to become undisputed. Just like Errol Spence, it was quite obvious, you know what I mean? Money was more on his mind. Bud Crawford was more about legacy. The same happened with Shakur Stevenson versus, I'm sorry, Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. Very good fight, close fight. You know, Lomachenko fought. He fought a hell of a fight. I mean, I still had it a draw, or maybe Devin Haney winning the fight. But at the end of the day, Lomachenko, if you want to become a great fighter still, or still want to remain, you gotta fight. You gotta fight these young bucks. It's not their fault that you came into the boxing game after two gold medals in the Olympics, and his record today, as it still stands today, is 17 wins, three losses, and 11 knockouts. It's not their fault that some of these young bucks already got 20 plus fights, and they experienced in they before they even hit their mid 20s. Lomachenko, man, the ball's in your court, but he ain't trying to be about that life. I feel for Shakur Stevenson. The Devin Haney fans, they turned on Shakur Stevenson. They about to do uh, you know, and allegedly pro-black channels, right? They about to do the same scenario like they did, pitting two brothers against each other, that they did for Terrence Crawford and Darrell Spence. You know what I mean? And they riding with Devin Haney because they bad mouthing the man Shakur Stevenson. While Shakur Stevenson is the one out there wants to fight everybody, ducking no smoke. They said he should have taken the 25 to 75 split. Now I wasn't mad at that. I thought he should have taken it too, right? Or at least try to negotiate to get at least a 70-30, because I do believe Devin Haney has put in the work to capture all them world titles. Some try to say he hasn't. He got an easy lick, and Teofimo Lopez is the one who put in the work. And everybody has their detractors, right? But I hate to see how the division people are causing with Shakur Stevenson and trying to make him look like the bad guy out here. 75-25 split, as far as Shakur Stevenson said it himself on his Twitter, that Team Haney was lying about it would have been his biggest payday. He said that's cap. Shakur Stevenson said that's cap. Taking 75-25 wouldn't be my biggest payday, because in my last three fights, his three previous fights, and never forget his last fight, he sold out that Prudential Center over there in Newark, New Jersey. His last previous three fights, he made more money in each of those fights. Not all together, each of those fights more than he's getting offered to fight the man Devin Haney. Now, I don't think that's fair. There's no way Devin Haney should be, I'm sorry, Lomachenko, I'm sorry, Shakur Stevenson should make short money when he's fighting guys like the Japanese guy he stopped in he beat up in his last fight, right? He should make more money than that for a big world title fight. Now, that's like I said, Devin Haney has done all the heavy lifting. He has four straps. He got four sanctioned bodies to pay. Shakur Stevenson also has to put that in consideration. And if he, yeah, I mean, Devin Haney is also going up to 140. So obviously that fight's not happening next. Will it ever happen? I don't see it happening at 135. Maybe at 140 if Shakur moves up. Just like Tank, a lot of these fights that we would have loved to see at 135, we might get them at 140. Fingers crossed. What's happening? Hop's in the chat. What's going on with you, big man? Uh, Hop's asking me who should Jaime Munguia fight. I don't know. I'm not thinking about no damn Jaime Munguia right now. I ain't gonna lie. Jaime Munguia to me is a basket case. I don't even make videos about that guy, Hop, because these guys ducked numerous world title opportunities. So he could stay over there on Golden Boy and fight Devrachenko and a lot of guys and go to war, because when he fights a elite fighter, you already know what time it is. Hops in the chat. He says, "What are top three fights you want to see?" B. Marsh. Top three fights I'd like to see. I'd like to see Tank Davis versus Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. I'd like to see. Uh, Top three fights. I'd like to see Bivol and Better Beef. Bivol and Better Beef for undisputed. I'd like to see Usyk and Tyson Fury for undisputed. I'd like to see some other good fights to be made out there. Uh, I think you asked me top three. I think those are the best three fights I could see right now. Yeah, I mean, yep, that's what I got. Hop says, how about Bivol and Better Beef? Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see that. Uh, how much do you want to see Wilder Joshua in a few months? I would love to see that fight big time. I don't care if they've lost and have no titles. Yeah, big fight. Big fight. I'd love to see it. Hop says, whatever happened to Andrew Tabiti? Disappeared after losing to Dorticos. Maybe he's done. Andrew Tabiti, I believe, is in England. I think he's down with Anthony Joshua or something. I think he's being managed by Anthony Joshua's team, and he's over there in England. I haven't seen him in the ring in a long time. Let me look him up actually right now. I can't remember the last I seen him in the ring. But after that Dortico's knockout, he been AWOL. Uh, Andrew Tabiti. Let me check him out. Let me see who Andrew Tabiti. He's been doing a whole lot of nothing, I bet. He's 20 wins, 1 loss, 16 KOs. Remember, he was on Mayweather Promotions. The last time he fought was in August of 2022, so a year ago. And the fight was in Jeddah. It was in Saudi Arabia. Let me see. It was on that undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Usyk. Yeah, that's the last time I seen him. You know what I mean? So that's what he's doing. So yeah, man. Vasyl Lomachenko. It's a damn shame, but hey, hold your head high, Shakur Stevenson, and just fight the best possible opponent. You know what I mean? Fellas ain't trying to fight you. You know, Shakur, Devin Haney. I'd love to see that fight, but I don't. Devin Haney, I think, is going to be more comfortable at 140. I don't see him coming down to 135. Some people have made comparisons like, oh, when Cannoli went up to 175 to fight Bivol, ain't nobody was pressuring him to give up all the belts and at 168. Nobody. You see, some people just have some really stupid notions in boxing. Dogs. Not everybody. I just told y'all, man. Not everybody walks the same path in life. Not every situation is the same circumstances. Cannoli's situation is different. Obviously, he was gonna come back to 168. There was never any a doubt in anybody's mind that he was gonna stay at 175, even if he beat Bivol. He didn't do it before. He beat Kovalev at 175. Then he came back down to 168. He lost to Bivol at 175. He came back down. He's too small for 175. Devin Haney's too big for 135. That's the difference. These nut ass dudes out here to be just talking, just be talking nonsense. You know what I mean? Anyways, B Marsh Boxing, man. I'm about to sign off. Let me know who you'd like to see Shakur Stevenson fight next. Best believe, forget about it. Shakur versus Lomachenko is not happening. Lomachenko wants time off. I don't know what that means. Are you going to be out the ring for a whole year? I believe they fought in May, okay? What's a whole time off? Does that mean you want to come back at the end of the year and fight Shakur Stevenson? I highly doubt it, but time will tell. B Marsh Boxing. I'll pass another question. Who do you want to see Boots in its fight? I'd like to see Boots Ennis versus Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying, but I know where Terrence Crawford is right now in the boxing game, man. He gonna do him like how Floyd Mayweather had Erislandy Lara when Lara was his mandatory for 154 WBA strap, or Keith Thurman. He don't need to fight these guys. You know what I'm saying, he was trying to fight Because really and truly, like I said before, this guy really has improved himself as far as even beating a former world champion in Boots Ennis. You know what I mean? So he is the mandatory for the IBF, but you know how it is in this boxing game, man. When you're a dangerous fighter who can switch stances like Boots, you're gonna have to beat somebody. You ain't just gonna come up there and get the fight with the best pound for pound fighter on planet Earth. I don't think the best pound for pound fighters on planet Earth, they just be there be fighting mandatories and stuff. That's a red flag, really and truly, especially for guys who are superstars in the boxing game, to fight mandatories rather than big money fights that make sense and unifications and undisputeds and you know what I mean. So Boots Ennis, if you can't get a hold of Terrence Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, I don't think he wants to fight anybody. I'd like to see him fight Staniosis. How about that? Staniosis, that's a good fair fight. Two guys on the come up. Staniosis, that's a good fight. Or any of Bud Crawford and Errol Spencer's leftovers. You know what I'm saying? How about Ugas, a former world champion who's not a champ right now, or Keith Thurman? Those are very good fights for the man Boots Ennis that are makeable fights. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Big ups to everybody in the chat. Please hit the thumbs up. Big ups to Hop. And be Marsh Boxing. Let me know who you'd like to see Shakur Stevenson fight next. I'm out of here. One.